reminds me to move forward. Time is ticking and slipping away. Love always reminds me to move forward. Winds blow and clouds come and go. Love always reminds me to move forward. Happiness in my hands. Life is so grand. Love always reminds me to move forward. Time passes year after year. Love always reminds me to move forward. Winds blow and clouds come and go. Love always reminds me to move forward. Endless happiness makes my life so grand. An amazing life is always in my hands.
Hello and welcome to our Super Life Secret Codes online workshop. My name is Ryan Sway, and first I'd like to thank Master Sun for providing us these great tools to improve our lives. I also want to thank our panelists and all the participants from around the world. Super Life Secret Codes teaches us how to take control of life using energy management. The book was written as a life manual focusing on the two codes of love and gratitude. If used properly, these two codes can help us achieve success in every aspect of our lives. Okay, welcome everyone and good evening. Tonight we'll be reading in the Abundance is So Simple book, and we'll be talking about the accumulation of merits. For a lot of Super Life Secret Codes students, they practice a lot, they read the book, they use all the tools, and they listen to lectures from Master Sun. But for some of them, it still doesn't fully connect because they haven't built any merits. And Master Sun teaches us that the merits are very important. We actually have to share this information to help other people and to kind of create these merits. And also these merits are kind of the currency to exchange with our negative energy. So as we use step one of Super Life Secret Codes of repent and pledge make, the merits are kind of part of that pledge making. And so if we don't do these things, we're still kind of incomplete on this whole process. And that's possibly why the outcome of whatever success you're looking for or whatever outcome you're looking for may not connect yet. And a lot of that is because of this merit. We use the merit again as the currency to kind of exchange with our negative energy as we pledge make. So it's important that we recognize this, because we can't just go through Super Life Secret Codes, the process of just reading, practicing, doing the exercises. There's a little bit more kind of hands-on, kind of putting the wheels to the ground type mentality, and that's where the merits come in. And I think this is an area that a lot of us have to kind of self-reflect to see if we actually are doing that. Because I know it's easy to, or I should say, it's easier to read, to practice, and to kind of represent yourself in a way that follows the Super Life Secret Codes and what Master Sun teaches. But then the real grit of it, the test of it is, what have we done for, the people around us? What is our effect on people? Because for a lot of us, it's easy to say like, hey, you know what? I do this, and I do that. And that makes me, a very good student or a very good worker, all of these things. But what really counts these days is like, how does everybody around you receive that? And this is, I think, something that we have to kind of step out of our own space. And that's where like the merit comes in. Like, do you really help people? Do people around you feel better when you're there? Or do people around you feel, worse? There are people that, do a lot of things, but when they're just there, people are kind of uncomfortable. I think we've all had bosses like that, that want to be that boss, to be part of the team and to rah-rah with all the team players and employees. But once the boss is there, everybody's kind of walking on eggshells. They're not comfortable. They don't know the boss. They're not connecting. And so therefore there's a disconnect, and their presence actually creates kind of uncomfortableness. So with this merit concept, it's kind of like we take all that we have learned. Can we put it to a purpose or a use where it actually helps other people? And if we can, then we generate these merits, and then these merits, again, is the currency that we can, offer towards our negative energy to pay back the debt that we have. So it's really important to understand this, and then it's equally important to actually do it. And again, from my own experience with Super Life Secret Codes, there was kind of a learning curve for me to learn about Super Life Secret Codes, and then to realize that what I've learned, I need to now apply to building these merits, and actually kind of testing to see if these are truly merits, or again, if it's just me thinking, hey, I'm doing all these things, I'm reading, I'm doing workshops, I have to be creating merits. That's not going to be the test, like the answer. What we actually do, we'll know from the people around us. And, like Master Sun says, our life is our grade. So if we're not having a smooth life, we're struggling a lot, if we're having a lot of conflict or confrontation, then maybe we're not doing all that we thought. And this is something that, again, we all as individuals have to monitor, because there really is no police these days to come tell us like, hey, you're not doing this right. This is on us. So this section, I think, is really important in terms of understanding what the merits are and how it applies. And so we'll be reading that. And now I'd like to introduce our panelists for tonight. We have Amy from Las Vegas, Nevada, and we have Vivian from Walnut, California. So thank you, panelists. We'll go ahead, and Vivian and I will start reading on page 119. Let's see, spotlight and spotlight. Okay. So Vivian, I believe you start.
Yes. Fourth, creating and nurturing merits, progressive merits accumulation. Master always says everything is energy. Does it mean the amount of energy is determined by the quantity of merit created?
Yes. Be it spiritual practice or cultivation of body and mind, merit must be present as a supporting foundation, or else you cannot attain anything. Please stay away from any spiritual organization that understates the importance of merit practice. In the ancient times, before a master or noble man accepted anyone as their disciple, they would spend a long period of time observing the character of that person. In the modern world, everything is about speed and time is short. To all my students, I need to make this very clear. Without merit, your spiritual practice will not bear fruits, no matter how good you are at the practice. One day it will collapse.
Why can we succeed in our practice without merit?
Because the preservation of your energy field is only possible with enough merits. Besides, there's a very close relationship between the amount of merits you accumulate and the credits and debt you have accumulated in past lives. The cultivation, preservation, and creation of merits are not simply talk. You need to choose whether you want or don't want.
I've often heard that the deed of secret virtue is important. What is secret virtue? How does it come along?
Merit is the root of life. It is accumulated bit by bit. Merits can be categorized as known merit or secret virtue. When you do charity and you make it known to people, this is called known merit. When you do charity without the knowledge of people, this is called secret virtue. If known merit is equal to silver, secret virtue is equal to gold. In the ancient times, people with great virtue always emit a strong magnetic field, and the divine power appears whenever help is needed for them. The most direct way to accumulate merit is to implement the essential steps 1, 2, 3 in Super Life Secret Codes in watching and learning Di Zi Gui by Mr. Tsai.
Some people will pray at a temple whenever they come across issues. Is this helpful?
If the root cause of your challenges in life is based on merit deficiency, then even God at the temple dare not help you. If you are not approved and blessed by the universe, and the God comes to rescue you, both parties will be punished, and this is the law of the universe. What I am talking about now is a permanent solution to change your fate. So once you have understood and implemented our methods, if you are still stuck, you must then reflect and check on yourself.
Hence, we need to leverage on the sun meditation to obtain positive energy, to resonate with the sun, to receive the blessings from the sun, and no guarantee our achievements, right? And to guarantee our achievements, right?
Correct. Do not envy other people's good life. Everyone has his own fate. When the time comes, you may be better off than other people. But if this happens, please remember clearly the theory behind this operation and acknowledge that the honor belongs to the universe. Wholeheartedly praise for the blessings bestowed onto you by the universe. With such development, your energy field will keep expanding and strengthening, and your life will be well blessed, and you will encounter endless abundance.
Now I know how amazing it is to be grateful to the universe.
When you join the Super Life Secret Code system, when your life becomes smoother, try to avoid creating bad karma and ruining your fate. By the way, helping others to succeed is a kind of merit too. You need to learn how to burn yourself to give others light. Avoid being calculative with people. The universe always takes care of people who constantly practice and people who seriously work on their attainment. We can stop here today. Do you have any other questions?
Master, what is the final aim of our system?
Before we reach our final aim, let us focus on how to become a good human. No matter how much I teach you, the most important lesson is to become a good human. Sometimes we are not very effective in our role as a human, and even though it is not intentional, you end up doing so.
Yes, why is this so?
Because your energy field is weak. Let's focus on the work of becoming a good human before you deal with the rest. If you can't be a good human, it is pointless to talk about whether you want to head or about where you want to head after life comes to an end. If you have not bought yourself a ticket, do you think it is possible to get into Disneyland? There is no need to lie to yourself. Just focus on how to become a good human, with no complaints and no regrets. From there, Work to further enhance yourself to the next level. As to which level or state you are heading to, this is not what you can decide. Just leave it to the universe. Okay, we can pause there. Vivian, would you like to share?
Yeah, earlier, Ryan mentioned about helping others, and then yeah, Master Son also say helping others to succeed is a kind of merit. Um, just like today, okay, something small but meaningful happened. Now is our busy month and close time. And then as usual, I run the report and send a file to a coworker in another department, which is a credit department. And every month, the coworker receives this accounts receivable file, and she has to follow up with the claims, taking some actions. But today, suddenly, she gave me many reasons that sounds like she didn't want to do it. And then I could sense she probably was overwhelming with other tasks and then under a lot of pressure. So I took a moment to explain things gently here and there. And then finally she understood. And then her tone uh, softened. And then she was willing to continue her uh, her part just like she usually does. And I'm glad that I made a good choice to help her clean up the garbage in her heart. I don't know why she's thinking at earlier, and then she can succeed to control her emotion and then complete her work. And from here, I realized there was an opportunity for self-reflection. Work is truly a place for cultivation, just like Master Son always says. And then under pressure, I think about under pressure, even small troubles can turn things that are usually fine into big problems. When our self-protection mechanism is triggered, whoever speaks first sometimes sometimes wins the situation, whether reasonable or not. If we insist on going head to head, what begins as something small can easily grow into something big. I'm glad, and also I'm so grateful that I can learn a Super Life Secret Code under Master Son's instruction. And then in one of his book named The Light of Life says, diligent cultivation by following the principles is a simple and an effective way to release pressure. Just just according to my coworker's case, and I also read this sentence from Master Son's book, and then this teaches us to stay focused on our practice. When we feel pressure, it is a warning signal from our body and mind, and at that moment, Master Son said we must quickly clear away the garbage in our hearts, untie the knots, and do the cleaning work for body, mind, and soul. And only by clearing the accumulation within can we truly release stress. I'm also grateful for studying Super Life Secret Code. When I see my coworkers' reaction, I remind myself to look inwards first. This reaction, I feel like is very common, and then it's called a habit. And our cultivation is to correct our own bad behaviors and the wrong mindsets, but the prerequisite is to see our own problems first. Without opportunities like this, we may never realize where we are wrong because our instinct is often to point fingers at others. In Master Son's another book named What is Life to Be Like? Master Son also reminds us cultivation must be in the heart and soul. Whether we draw the cards and then doing the meditation or watching Di Zi Gui, we must experience the benefits with sincerity in order to eliminate bad habits and elevate our spirituality. In last week's workshop from Master Son, he also emphasized that indulging ourselves leads to many bad habits. These habits are built up over lifetime and they grow little by little in this lifetime. This is why essential step why repentance is so important. It allows us to face ourselves honestly, see through our wrong mindset, behaviors, and make changes, and stop thinking that we are already good enough. So I'm really, truly, deeply grateful for Master Sun's teaching. From his wise and heartful guidance, I think from other people's case, I can reflect myself and then try to correct my behavior or bad habit. Thank you. This is just my sharing.
Thank you, Vivian, for your sharing. As I was listening to your sharing and talking about your coworker and stuff, I realized people have a lot of data, and years and years of data. It can be triggered in an instant, and once that thing is triggered, it's like opening the floodgate at a dam. When that water comes out, you don't get to just take a little bit. It's everything. And I've talked to different people, and I've heard different people that surprise me tremendously, that they can go from one area, like one kind of level, to jump to something else. And in the past, I would really be surprised, and I would be upset. I would be really mad at these people. I'd be disappointed, and I think like, this person's a fraud, this person's a liar, whatever the case may be. But then I realized, like, for all of us, it triggers this negative energy. And so as I look to myself, there are times that I do things and I realize, like, wow, like, where did this come from? Just last weekend, there was a class Master Sun taught about, the soul. And for a lot of us, the soul, as Master Sun describes, is our database of everything that we've ever thought, that we've ever encountered. It's stored in there. And every so often, in my own experience, that soul, I joke and I say, when my mind and body are fighting each other, having an argument, the soul sneaks out and does something that surprises everybody. And sometimes in the past, in my own life, I did things that I thought, this is really unusual for me. Where did this come from? And so I notice now, when I deal with other people in different, workshops and stuff, that if you push their buttons, that energy comes out. And in the past, I'd be really upset. Like, I would fight people, like physically fight people, because of that. But now, as I recognize, like, hey, you know what? We're all dealing with years and years of data. And sometimes a button is pushed and it triggers something. So in order to understand, to be like a good human, in this section it talks about, we have to understand that. And I think that's really a challenge, because the data that we store for a lot of people is not good human data. It's bad people data. And that's why it's considered our negative energy. And again, every once in a while, switches are turned on or triggers are triggered to ignite this. And, in different workshops, we talk about it. This negative energy is fuel, and that spark is a lighter. And when you light it, everything burns. Fire doesn't say, like, oh, this is a good thing, let's not burn that, let's go to the bad thing. Once it goes, it goes. And so the reason I bring this up is, like, for all of us, when we deal with people and, in our workplace and in life, we have to kind of try to understand, like, how these things are being triggered. Is this person already at their limit? Like, I'm dealing with someone in my life now that is very stressed out, and I recognize they're blaming everybody. They're at the point that they can't handle it themselves. Their energies are already depleted. So now the next phase is pointing the finger at everybody else. They did this, you did that, so-and-so this. And again, before Super Life Secret Codes, I would have looked at that and I would have been very upset. I would have taken it personal. And if I could fight the person, I would physically fight the person. But now, learning Super Life Secret Codes, you have to recognize that this is like a person's disposition. This is where they're at. This is where their energy is. This is the best that they can do given the resources they have. So if we understand that, and it's not the outcome we want, then we have to adjust. And I think, again, without Super Life Secret Codes, never would have thought that, never would have considered it. But now we as students of Super Life Secret Codes, we have to recognize that. And as you put all of this together, being a good human is key. And I used to think you can shortcut it, forget about being the good human, just do the things, merits, all this stuff. But in order for all of this to come together and stick, every piece has to be there. So if in your life you're not getting the results you're looking for, you're still having those conflicts, well, then somewhere something is missing. Because if it all was right, then you would get those results. And that's something I really appreciate from Master Sun, is to have that understanding. Whereas before, I think I would have blamed other people and said, no, this person is wrong, this person is cheating, or this person is something. And I wouldn't be able to make the final outcome the way I want it to by changing myself. I would wait for others. And I think we all know that if you're waiting for someone else to change, just give up, because it's probably not going to happen. And along the way, as you're waiting, you're just going to create more negative energy and resentment towards that person. So it's really important to kind of recognize this. And this is one of the things on a weekly basis in different workshops that we talk about a lot. And it helps me understand other people and also understand myself, and then have a guideline of the things that we should be doing. Because the Deeds of Gwei, for most people, especially English speaking people, is very unknown. There's no real English version. There's not a book out there that talks about this. Maybe the Bible or something is one version, but that's a big book. So it's hard to really know, like, how are you or are you not a good person? We don't have that gauge. But fortunately, those that have read, and I've had I'm fortunate enough that I've gotten to read Deeds of Gwei, that is such a helpful tool. And I think for a lot of people in the world, that's a missing piece. And that's why they don't connect with the full effect of cultivation and positive energy and being a good person. So I'm very grateful that Master Sun is giving us these opportunities to connect with all that. And with that, the future is bright, and, we have a good pathway towards being a good human being, building merits, and hopefully improving our lives and the people around us. So again, Vivian, thank you for your sharing on that. It kind of shined the light on something that, for me, and so thank you. And now we'll move on to the next section, and Amy and I will be reading from page 123.
Okay. So the fifth liberation from reincarnation, the pure will ascend. What is the ultimate state?
In a simple phrase, the ultimate state is purification of mind. The pure stays at the top, the defiled stays at the bottom. The pure rises and advances to heaven, the defiled falls and sinks.
That simple?
That simple. Perhaps this is the area where I am most disadvantaged, because I simplify the universal truth and make it very easy to understand. Some people will say that simple, then I am not coming. Many people prefer exploring the complicated courses full of bombastic vocabulary. They make a lot of notes, but at the end, they hardly understand anything, and they are not helped much. My role is to tell you the ways towards great achievement using the simplest words, so that we both avoid wasting our time.
Another question to Master. The immortality mentioned in our system, is it referring to spiritual practice to a non-production and imperishable level, where one is liberated from reincarnation?
It is at least that state. As to liberation from reincarnation, do not take it as a terminal point. There is still a large part of drama behind it. Some people are rather pathetic in their whole life, and they fail to liberate themselves from karma. I want to emphasize again, you should do your spiritual practice to a point where you are capable of controlling your life and death. That way, only you have the bullet to liberate yourself from reincarnation. But again, before even reaching that stage, ask yourself, can you, at present, control your emotion? This is the basic foundation. Only when you can control your emotion can you pursue further on controlling your life and death. So for now, focus on your actual practice and focus on being a good human.
Some people ask me before, would Super Life Secret Codes become a religion one day?
No, we are not a religion.
What do we belong to?
We research the universal truths and we do actual practice on the universal truths. We do not take sides on any religion, nor do we just focus on a slogan without any concrete action. I do not want to waste the time of my students. I hope every student in my system attains real achievements and they are the parties envied by people.
One more question. Does wearing black attract negative energy?
Oh, whom has black color offended? Everyone is equal, so are all the colors. You need to see which kind of black color. The deepest part of the ocean is black, as it is away from any light. The deepest part of the universe is also black. A practical way to match the colors of your clothing with your own 5 elements. Black denotes water. If you belong to the yang element and you wear black every day, you will tend to lead a bumpy life. You need to study the 5 elements to put this to practical use.
Is it true that dark areas attract negative energy?
Of course. Hence, you need to ensure your living area is sufficiently lit up. If you do not have enough lights, please install more. Nowadays, the LED lights are energy saving, so just let the lights run. Just a little cost could improve your energy field. This is money well spent. What other question do you have?
Master, in our system, what is the initial result expected? What is the ultimate result we should expect?
In our system, you should persist until you attain results. The initial result should be changes and improvements of your daily life. The ultimate result should be satisfaction or sanctification. This is the mandatory criterion of seeds before they can be selected for birth in the future era. Only with this can one earn his privilege to the next stage, or else they will be eliminated. Do you now understand the importance of why we have to compete with time?
Yes, I do. I just feel rather heavy.
Okay, we can pause there. Amy, would you like to share?
Yes, this part that talks about reincarnation and also it talks about liberation. And this is very important because it's related to our mind, body, and soul, our soul. Our soul is that one entity that is with us from day one. So it records everything and it picks up all the experience and all the data and records of one being. However, if we do not complete our lessons in one particular life, we get sent back to retake it again. It's almost like we have to get a like a college exam in order to pass it, then to move on. But if we don't pass it, we have to keep taking it. So life is the same way. The reason of reincarnation is because unfinished lesson in business. So we get sent back to relearn it. That's why we get put in different trauma situations and conditions so we can train and learn. However, if we notice that we have gone through many, many lives and we have been through maybe money issues in the past, health issues, and relationship issues. But when we get sent back, maybe the 10th time, the 20th times, but we're still helpless. We still don't know how to tackle many situations. So that is a sign, that's a problem because we haven't learned it and we never learn. That's why we keep suffering. So in Super Life Secret Codes, Master Sun really break it down for all of us and giving us the right information so we can wake up from this phenomenon and we remind ourselves that we don't want to keep repeating, we don't want to keep going through these complicated situations. If we learn our lesson diligently and with mindfulness, we pick up the skill and we move on to a different level, and it's something not the same as the vicious cycle of reincarnation. So that's what we call liberation. When you graduate, you move on to another level, it's liberation. So we have to do that. That is the goal for our spiritual life. If we don't, we will forever be at the same place. And oftentimes, Master Sun says, we don't stay at the same level. We go backward because when we accumulate more and more debt and entanglement with different people, life after life, the negative karma gets heavier and accumulate. So that's why we don't move up one level, we go down maybe many levels. So that's why right here it says the pure will ascend and the defiled stays on the bottom, which is heavy. So heavier soul carry a lot of burden and negative energy and debt go downward. It's like heavy, something is dragging our soul downward. So who sends us to heaven or hell? It's us. Nobody really put us there. We attract heaven or hell. Depends on the how the condition of our soul. So we have to be aware of that. Another thing is Master Sun keep telling us we are racing against time because the world is coming to a judgment day because the world has going through this cycle for many times and the universe decides to give a final evaluation to see everybody, how is everyone? What is your report card? And definitely the universe has a has a guideline and a standard. So whoever can meet the standard can move on, and whoever cannot will just get, eliminated or put back at us wherever. So this is a critical time right now, and we see a lot of turmoil in the world, and the nature is fighting back. A lot of negative things, situation are happening. That is because of karma is executing, and negative energy is executing. So we have to remember, we have to pay off. Right now is the time because there is a execution time and an evaluation time. And when the time is up, we have no more time to fix or go back. So right now we work as hard as we can to build up our merits, and that is what it takes to pay back to our negative energy. So this is very critical. And so Master San keep to remind everybody, come on, time is very precious, and don't dwell on all the splurging and distractions in the material world, because there are temptations out there. They deviate us from our focus, and so that's very important. And I want to share one little thing because in Super Life Secret Codes, like right here at the very end, it talks about we have this strive for improvement. That is the purpose of learning and cultivation. If we don't see any change, then that's an indication of we haven't really learned it. So recently, actually a while ago, I set a positioning, I reprogrammed myself. I told myself that I have to be very patient with people because in the past, I have so many facial expressions. When I get annoyed or impatient, I will have a face. And maybe in public, waiting in line, blah, blah, blah. And I noticed it. I caught myself. And so I told myself, Amy-san, you need to fix it. And so I would pay attention and remind myself that when you come to a situation, there are many people, and you feel very impatient, you need to hold and you need to not do that, your thing. That's disrespectful. And by adjusting my mindset and my emotions, I feel, hey, I'm making an improvement. Not only I have no facial expression, I actually send signal to my heart. My heart feels very calm. So yesterday I went to a very busy supermarket and I saw there were so many people and the carts everywhere. I couldn't really go through it. And there was one lady, she was bending down on the ground, she put two products side by side. She was trying to decide and reading the labels and not really looking at how many people are blocked by her. This traffic jam is due to her. So I stand there and I just, I said, okay, Amy, you have to practice. And how are you feeling right now? I said, oh, I'm feeling good. And I just stand there and patiently waiting. And finally, somebody else moved. That lady's never moved. And so there was a little opening, and then we could, start to get past. So I go, okay, good. You did it. You didn't make the situation create conflict or annoying feelings in your heart. That's good. So I just keep doing that. But it comes with a positioning. You have to kind of set a goal, what you want to achieve. Then you monitor yourself. Hey, is it a checkpoint? Did you do it once? Did you do it twice? And when we auto-correct ourselves, eventually this bad habit will be completely removed. So that's just what I want to share, the kind of, things I learned from Master Sun to reprogram. We absolutely can reprogram ourselves to change from a bad habit to a good habit. That's my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, for your sharing. Yeah, on a daily basis, we have to catch ourselves, remind ourselves to make sure that our practice is becoming a reality. It's very easy to let our bad data or our past data, different things get the best of us. But as a student of Super Life Secret Codes, we do have to make sure that we practice what we preach, right? Because it's easy to say we're doing it, we're trying, our intentions are there. But again, at the end of the day, our grade is how other people receive us. And this has been one of the more challenging things for me to understand and to accept, but it truly is. How do other people receive you? Doesn't matter what your intentions are, it doesn't matter how hard you try, what is the fact or what is the truth about how other people receive you. And if you find that it's not as good as you thought, then obviously you have adjustments. So this again for me was very difficult because I was always more I know what I'm doing, I know better, or these people are not right. And I kind of, whether you want to call it arrogance or ignorance, I was more in that camp. But now I really do want to make sure, like, even with my kids, I know I may be right about something, but I have to present it in a certain way so that it can be received properly and then something good can come out of it. Because nowadays, the intentions and what you consider integrity or you think, if it doesn't match up with the other person and the outcome is bad, the outcome is bad. That's the score. So the world we live in, especially in the US, we see this more and more. People make a claim and it may be right on paper, but in reality it's terrible, or vice versa. On paper it's horrible, but in reality it actually worked. But at the end of the day, it is the result. So I think, that's something that we all have to, really pay attention to and let our egos go, let our bad data go, let a lot of things go. I mean, this is something that I constantly try to remind myself about. And oftentimes in different workshops we talk about it, and people say, I really need to let this go. So at the end of the day, in this, what we read today, merits, be a good human, and, make sure you being a good human affects other people in a positive way. Otherwise, you may want to question whether or not you truly are being a good human. So with that, again, I want to thank Amy and Vivian for their reading and sharing. I want to thank all the participants on Facebook, and last but not least, I want to thank Master Sun for providing us these great tools to improve our lives. Have a great rest of your night in the US and a great rest of your day in Asia. Thank you. All right.